The Open Modifieds return for the second time this season to the Stafford Motor Speedway, the first time since the Napa Spring Sizzler, and it is Casella Waste Open 80 night Bonssa Tufa, and what a great entry list that we have lined up ready to go, including one of the best in the South right now.
Carson Lofton, point leader in the Smart Modifieds, 5-time winner this season. He's coming up north to compete against some of the best in modified racing in the Casella Waste Open Modified 80. It's going to be very interesting to see how he does. He's beaten guys like Matt Hirschman, Jimmy Blewett. He's beaten a lot of good modified drivers already, but he's up here in Stafford. It's modified country. Let's see how he does. It's going to be interesting, but there's a lot of other good drivers in that entry list that will make it really tough for the 23.
Ronnie Williams being one of them, a 2-time track champion. Mike Christopher Jr., who was a multi-time winner in the SK Modifieds, and of course a winner in the Open Modifieds as well a couple of years ago for Tommy Baldwin. Keith Rocco is entered. A lot of big names. Woody Pitkat, one of the winningest drivers in track history, will be here Friday night.
And the defending winner of the Casella Modified Open 80, Eric Goodale. We'll see what the 58 can do. He wasn't too great, I think, at the Spring Sizzler. Wasn't really much of a factor, but it's an 80-lap race. He's had some time to go over it. We've seen him race in SK a couple times as well, so we'll see what he has in store if he can go back-to-back in this event. You got Todd Owen back in the Open Modifieds. Keith Rocco, we'll see if he can get that Open Modified program going better after the Spring Sizzler weekend. A lot of good drivers, a lot of options to pick in terms of who you want to win. We'll see what happens at the end of 80 laps.
One of the best in the South going against a lot of the best here in the Northeast at Stafford Motor Speedway, where a lot of these drivers have grown up over the years. Let's talk about last Friday night. The SK Modifieds continued to impress week after week. A 3-wide pass for the lead here up the back straightaway, and they nearly crossed the line, 3 wide at the finish.
It was phenomenal. Those last 5-6 laps were just crazy. And Marcello Refrano decided to go the next level. Instead of side-by-side racing, let's go 3 wide. And they went 3 wide for about half a lap. It was him, Anthony Flannery, Andrew Moeller. But in the end, the Pride of Italy got his first win of the year, his 5th career SK Modified win. He came close back in week 1 in that battle with Troy Talman. Got it done last Friday night. Anthony Flannery, the best he's looked in the SK Modifieds. He was great at the second half of last season. A bit of a rough start this year, but last Friday was a huge shot in the arm. Andrew Moeller, 5 races, 5 top 5 finishes, 3 consecutive podiums, but he's tired of points finishes. He wants to win. He's so close. He was up there battling for that win, but that 3-wide situation sent him back a couple spots, and that's all it took. An amazing race, a lot to keep track of. Corey DiMatteo's winning streak ends at 3. Still a great winning streak, by the way, but he got caught up in an accident in turn 1 on a restart, fell back, still finished 10th, so he has 5 top 10s in 5 races, but Moeller does have the point lead.
He does have the championship point lead, and they say if you're up there enough, at some point you're going to get to the flag first, and maybe this Friday night is that night for this season. In the late models, a new winner, and we knew it was only a matter of time before Paul Verrecchio got to Napa Victory Lane.
2 runner-ups this season heading into Friday, plus battling for the lead week 1 before the black flag. Finally, a caution-free 30-lap feature. He makes his way through the field to take the victory, making the winning pass with 10 laps to go. It was a matter of when, not if, for that 39 team. Ever since he got that brand new BFR car last year, they've been lights out. It was just a matter of getting to the checkered flag first, and he did it. Finishing second, Kevin Gambacorta started basically last. He finished last in his heat race, started in the back, made his way to second. Gaining 12 spots in a 30-lap caution-free feature is really difficult in the late models. The field spread out, but his car came to life. Alex Fern, best finish in a year, finishing 3rd, led the first 19 laps of the event in the yellow 32. First time back in that car in a while. A much-needed run for that team. We'll see if they can keep that going. It's helped their confidence. Now they just got to keep it consistent going forward. The late model competition is stiff, but right now, Verrecchio and Gambacorta have been the class of the field. A long ways to go. We'll see if anybody has anything for those two.
In the SK Light Modifieds, Tyler Chapman's been pretty much the clear-cut favorite for most of the weeks this season, but a new winner, at least a points-paying event, this past Friday night.
Nicholas Hovey getting the win, and what a duel between those two. My heart was pounding because there were a couple times where I thought it could have ended very badly, but those two put on an incredible show, Hovey and Chapman. Great battle, crossing over, side by side, banging bars, giving the bumper, and so on. But Hovey got it done. We knew he was going to be fast this year driving for Keith Rocco. He won in that car at the Invitational last season, just had to put all the laps together, got it done, first points paying victory. Now he's got to keep it more consistent and stick with Chapman. You can beat him one week, but can you stick with him every week? Chapman's finished on the podium all 5 races this year, and even though he finished second, he wasn't happy with the car. Basically saying you don't want Chapman to be happy, because even when he's not happy with the car, he's still up front. Behind them, though, you had Amanda West, another top 5 finish, a great run for that team. Sammy Anderson on AZ Roofing Kids Night got her first Stafford points-paying podium, a huge night for that 21 team after starting back in 17th. They needed that shot in the arm. It's been a rough go to begin this season. They've had to go to the backup car a few times, not this time, and that car was good. She kept up with the top 2 for the most part. Matt Brewer, best career finish up 5th, a big top 5 for that team. A lot of good runs up there, a lot of trouble during the 20-lap feature that led to what we had in the end, but those cars up front were fast in the end, and it was Tyler Chapman and Nick Hovey that were the show. I know the SKs were great, but man, they stole it on Friday night. We'll see if they can keep that up.
In the limited late models, another trend that continued in the last Friday night. 5 races, 5 different winners, and another new winner.
A brand new Stafford winner in Kyle Terrio. Started up front, stayed up front, and had to hold off the last 2 limited late model champions in Jeremy Lavoie and Rich Hammond. And it did not come easy. Rich Hammond was on the outside of Terrio in the last couple laps. I think the 28 was faster, but Terrio ran a good race, stayed on the bottom, and it got him the win in less than 10 starts. Not many drivers can win at Stafford in less than 10 starts, but the 24 got it done. Good for that team. We'll see if they can keep that up. Rich Hammond, second place finish, backing off the win from the week before, so they're in the right direction. RJ Surdell, second podium in the last 3 races. Matt Clement had a day.
He did.
Wrecked in the heat race and then had to go to Scott Clement's 18 car from the back, got up to 5th. He's happy that car is fast, but he was a little hard on himself because that last restart cost him a chance at possibly a podium. But in the big picture, a big points night for him, considering what could have been if he could not make the feature. Jeremy Lavoie, he fell off in the second half of the race. He was running second for the most part, and then on the late restart, he fell back to 6th, being stuck on the outside. So that's 2 times in the last couple weeks where Lavoie's finished outside the top 5, uncharacteristic of that team. And then in the heat races, Adrian Paradise the third, Matt Winter the second, 2 contenders. A big wreck in their heat on lap 1. Neither made the feature in their car. Matt Winter raced the 44. Sadly, that car had an accident in the feature. Hopefully we'll see those 2 back on track soon enough, but just a really bad situation for those guys.
And in the street stocks, not a first-time winner, but it had been a while. First win this decade for Tyler Trott.
Yeah, that was this decade. That's a really good way to put it. It's been 8 years since Tyler Trott hit victory lane, and he told us pre-race a couple weeks ago this would be the season. He got it done. It was a crazy one. The first 15 laps went caution-free, and then a yellow came out when Marvin Minkler spun from second, and then all hell broke loose from there. I mean, it was just pure insanity. Jason Lafayette led so many laps trying to break a long drought himself. He spun out after contact with Travis Hydar while both tried to get around the lap car. Hydar's damage forced him into the pits, so he did not finish the race. And Tyler Trott, on the outside of Travis Downey, who had a slow leaking tire, by the way, makes the pass, holds off Jonathan Avery. It was wild. Jonathan Avery came out of nowhere in the last 5-10 laps to go from 14th to 2nd, a career best for him. But Trott was the one celebrating in victory lane. That's huge for that team, that family. They've been waiting so long for this moment. They've been hard on themselves because they haven't found victory lane. They got it last Friday night, and they were not really happy with the car. Trott was saying the rear end was having issues. So if that's the case, wait till they have a car that doesn't have problems. In the big picture, Travis Hydar out of the race. Travis Downey finishes third, but they're not the point leader.
With that new championship leader now being the most recent winner, Tyler Trott, but it is tight among the top 6.
It's, 8 points between the top 4, 5, 6 drivers after 5 races? I know it's early to talk about points, but listen, that's insane. And we talked all about how Travis Hydar is undoubtedly the title favorite. Well, 5 weeks in, and he's not the point leader. And the rest of the field is going to make it really hard for Travis because we know Hydar is going to start mid-pack. He's got to go forward, but these drivers, they know he's the fastest car. They're going to make it as difficult as possible for him to get by him. So Hydar's going to have to pick up the pace and maybe pick up the aggressiveness to get back to the front and avoid any trouble.
A wild week last Friday night here at the Stafford Motor Speedway, and for the most part, we're just getting started here. It's going to be a long summer ahead for these race teams. It continues this Friday with the Casella Waste Open 80 for the Open Modified. All 5 of our weekly divisions will join them. All the action gets underway just after 6 o'clock here at the Stafford Motor Speedway, and if you can't be here in person, you can always tune us in on Flow Racing.